So day 5, there is a link here, download ready API. This is what we will download. So let me set the stage first, so you all have clarity what we are going to learn. So we are going to first, if you have not downloaded, we'll download ready API. Second thing we'll do, we'll create a functional test cases. But for functional test cases, I need to cover some concept, and concept is wisdom. We have to cover wisdom. Wisdom stands for web service, description, language. Now, some of you may not know more about this. I'm just going to explain it. In case if you're not very clear about, don't be panic. If you can take like a few words from here, it's good enough, because each itself is a interesting topic. Though my focus is more on testing than explaining each and every detail, I'll try to keep a high level picture so you will understand. Then another thing is called XSD, which is called XML schema. Then you should know a little bit about XPath, which is XPath, which I think all you know. Then you should know a little bit about XML, extensible markup language. Then after doing that, we are going to do third thing called data-driven testing. Then we'll do load testing. And then we'll close with the report. So this is quite a good exercise. And there are quite a good learning also, because we need to understand how it works, right? So I'll go with the detail. Oh, I forgot about one interesting thing here. The most important thing. So, right, request and response, right? Sometimes we call envelope. So we'll talk about that as well. So first thing, I'll start downloading. I know many of you already downloaded, which is good, but this is my new laptop. So I'm just going to download. I'm going to show you the technique also. When you download, it will ask you your informations. So I'm going to click on download ready API, and it will pop up and say, hey, give me all the details, right? So here, you don't have to write correct information. So normally what I do is I check all the time. Every website I check, does it allow me without my correct email, right? Right? And let's install. Should not take more than a few minutes. So it will install. I'm hoping people on phone, you can also download and install. This take time. The original version of SOAP UI had a memory issue. It requires huge memory. Then they slim down. But now this one I saw, it's a lighter version. It doesn't take that much memory, which is kind of nice improvement, and it's more user friendly. You may like it because the way complexity, they kind of hide it, and they made a lot of goodies, which we will go through that as well. Any question in downloading this software, Ready API? Now, some of you say, I want to use SOAP UI, you can download it, but I always like to tell you, always go for the newer tool than older tool, because as you go progress, Ready API is available in the market, then people will use Ready API, right? You can, in parentheses, you can always say SOAP UI, because it is a SOAP UI with a newer version. Next, and installation is going on. Now, while you're doing installation, I'll take some time and go back to our forum. Any question with respect to downloading and all? So far, so good? Girish? Good. Okay. Now, let me go through the second topic, because I know this topic may be a new to you. So what happened in long time back, when the web service concept started, it started with two things in mind, which I explained on the first week. There are two approaches was there. One is the business first come up with the contract. They define contract. So business define contract. And when the contract is ready, then technical team member does implementation. So technical team does implementation. So this concept is called contract first. So when they were doing contract first, what we normally do, we work with the business team and find out what required attributes, what are the attributes you need, what is optional, what is the format, what is enumeration. We discuss about it. And then we convert that contract in a special language which is called WSDL, Web Service Description Language. Description language means if I have this file, I don't have to ask any question to anyone. Why? Because it describes the web service. So if you go inside that file, which I'm going to show you, you normally first see ABC. First you see ABC. Remember what I'm explaining high level, but it is also very important, even high level. In this file, you first see ABC. A stands for address. You will see web service address, where the web service is located. It's very important that you should know where the web service is located, so you can consume. Make sense or not? So you don't need to ask anyone. If somebody give you WSDL file, which is called WSDL file, then you have information about everything about that web service. So first you have address. The second thing is a binding. Now, many of you know what is now binding means. So binding means a contract binding. So binding means a contract. So what you are saying that how client and server. So client means the sense of the person who is gonna request the service, which is the client, and that service who are the provider, right? How they're gonna talk to each other, and that is the contract. Normally, if you are focusing on platform independent, the contract is always document. Contract is document. So document is the contract. So what does that mean? It means either XML or JSON. So if you use XML or JSON, it's a language independent, platform independent. So in this file, you will need to know what kind of contract binding we have. If binding is not clear, then you can't talk. Think about if your provider expects English and you speak in Spanish, they will not talk. Yes or no? So there are two are very popular. Then make sure you focus, okay? If you don't focus, then you lose the value, okay? Make sure you focus, because this is, you are not going to learn just like this. You have to understand what I'm trying to explain. Document is XML and JSON, which I think majority of you know. But there is another contract, it's called RPC. RPC contract was old, which is called remote procedure call. Remote procedure call are network based. So if company does not allow HTTP access, so like example, Priceline used to have RPC based call. I'm talking about 10, 12 years back. So what they do is they allow network port, and particular network through, like example, Marriott can point to that network, and there is a port, and through port they call. So that's called RPC. RPC means remote person come to your house, but particular port they talk. HTTP, they don't have to come to your network. They go through browser. RPC goes without browser. Do you see that? If you ask me, RPC is much faster because you are using network. If you are using browser, you are using internet, and internet is not under your control. Do you agree or not? Sometimes you are using public internet, so it may be slow, but RPC is much faster. So if you studied like 2000 to 2004, everything was RPC, remote procedure control. There were a couple of technology was popular. One was Cobra. Corba was one of the technology. Another was ActiveX. Third was EJB, Entity Java Beans. Nowadays, those are not available in the market. But if you work on Bank of America, you will see that. If you work on JP Morgan, you will still see that. If you work on Sears, you will still see that. Why? Because they have developed the service which is there for 20, 30 years. They didn't change at all. Why? Because it's so popular and so useful, and the business logics are there, they're not touching it. So those are legacy. If you ask me currently, no one will use RPC. 99.99% people will use document. But how would I know the contract? I will know the contract through WSDL file. So first I will see address. Second, I see binding. And third, I'll say contract detail. Contract detail. Now binding, I know document or RPC, but the contract detail I need. Now you say, what is this contract? So those are nothing but operation. Contract detail means operation. So example, if you call hello operation, then I'll say hi Tom or hello Tom. If you say, let's say math add, and you pass some X and Y, then I'll give you answer. So this one will give me operation detail. Each web service can have one or multiple operation. So web service can have one or more operation. Now, it's your choice to create one web service with 4 operations. So example, if you have a product, then you can say add product, one operation, update product, view product, find product, delete product, yes or no. These are all product specific, so you can put it. But when I was in GM, there was a special standard designed by X Method. There was a company. So X Method, there was a company, they defined a standard that we will create 4 service, not one. So add product is a separate service, get product is a separate service, delete product is a separate service, and update product is a separate service. This was the standard initially. Can anybody tell me why they created 4 service rather than one service? Creating one service is easy, right? Why they create 4 service?
To maintain 4 separate.
Why you think it's easy? It's actually double work, right? No?
One goes down, the other goes down.
Very good. So it allows you redundancy. Yep. Eric, you were saying something?
No, that was very exciting.
What other benefits you get? Your 4 team independently they can work. Yes or no? If you put all in one, if one make a change, entire team will be impacted. So having a separate service, which we call microservice currently, 2004, 2005, X Method have defined the standard that each service should have only one operation. So if you do add, it should be separate service. Update should be separate service. So you can see now 4 teams can run independently, deploy independently, test independently, scale independently. If you are doing add product less but get product more, you can add more server for get product. So this concept was there in 2003. Now in newer world, we call microservice. And there is a beautiful concept, those who are going for cloud world, 12-factor app. 12-factor app.
Avoid single point of failure.
Yes, you avoid single point of failure. But this concept was now new concept we call microservice or 12-factor app. 12-factor app published in 2017, but X Method has already published this thing in 2003, 2002. So 12-factor say that each service should be independent and they should not be dependent on each other. So example, if you do add is not dependent on get and get is not dependent on add. So 12-factor says everything has to be independent. And it should develop such a way that you can anytime scale up, scale down. Everything you can automate it. Testing should be independent. There should not be separate operation for testing, monitoring and all. Everything should be simple and production-like. Again, I have a small video. I'll talk about it. I'm not going in detail, but please understand, web service concept started with the mindset that how can we make operation available? All those informations you can get in WSDL. A stands for address, B stands for binding, and C stands for contract. Whatever we say contract, at that time, contract was known as an operation. Contract was known as an operation, which we call method or function. So if I say add product, that's one contract. View product, another contract. Delete product, another contract. Are we clear so far? Any question with A, B, C? Good. Now, if you are doing A, B, C, then there is a one question comes, how do I call A? Like example, let's say I have a method. Let's assume I have a method, add product, just an example. This is my contract, add product. Now, I want to add a product. But how am I going to pass the product? But you say binding was document. So you say I'll pass in a JSON or XML. But today we are learning SOAP service. So SOAP service only works with XML. So what is XML? Extensible Markup Language. So you need to understand how product will be written. So you need to write a first tag product. You need to write first tag product and then close product. Sound good? And then you say ID, product has ID. Maybe 1, and then close ID. Then product has a name. Start, and then product and close, and product has a price. So you have to create this thing. Yes or no? Now the question is, how do I create it? So I'm talking about early stage, right? In 2002, 2003. So there was a special technology industry, even till today people are using JAXB, Java Application XML Binding. Speak with me. Java Application XML Binding. XML binding means if you give me XML, then I can create a Java Pojo. I can create Java Pojo. Sounds familiar? Pojo, setter and getter. So if you give me XML, I can create Java, and if you give me Java, I can create XML. Now, do you see that now? So only people were using two languages, C# and Java. Python was not that popular at that time. So Java and Python, so JXB works for both Java and .NET. But you write XML, business people can easily write XML because it is not a technical thing. Remember, they start contract first. So they give you request first. So you take request and use JXB and your Java class is ready. Quite easy. Yes or no? So contract first was the approach where product owner or business analyst come up with a requirement and then they create XML. They give you XML. Using that XML, use JXB, and JXB will convert into Java object, and then you start. So sometimes people say, have you used JXB? You are using it, but it's not like literally you are using even today. So when you use yesterday, like not yesterday, the lab you are doing, many of you did it, thank you. Many of you struggled, thank you. You use product, right? Yes or no? So when you were passing product, if you have seen the lab, you are doing product dot, yes or no? So when you were calling post product, you're passing product, but suddenly product dot was working, yes or no? So you were passing JSON, but JXB automatically convert into object. So you can do dot notation. So product.id, product.name, product.price. How did it work? JXB does that. Even today itself, you're using JXB. So far, so good. XML, if you pass, we will pass XML when we do requests. So when we send requests, we are going to send in XML. But then behind the scene, if service is in a what you call Java, it will convert into Java object. If service is in C#, it will convert into C# object. But what if I cannot convert it? Will I get error? Yes or no? Yes. If I am expecting 3 items, ID, name, and price, and you give me 4 items, it might work. But if I'm expecting 3 items and you give me 2 items, it will not work. Again, let me repeat. I'm expecting 3 items, ID, name, and price. How many items I'm expecting? 3 items, ID, name, and price. But you give me ID, name, and price, and you give me vendor also. Will it work? It does work. But if I say ID, name, and price, and I give ID and name and not price, it should not work. So who does that policing? That ID, name, and price must be provided where vendor is optional. Someone needs to do policing, right? That is called validation, and that comes through XSD. SOAP was super duper popular because it does proper validation. Any request comes in extremely validated because XSD, you can define grammar, what is required, what is not required, what is integer, what is not integer. In JSON, you cannot do anything. So JSON is not that strong. JSON has a lot of problems, but people like simplicity. People say we are okay if there is a problem, but XML has a much better, richer grammar, and that comes through XSD. Visual file knows XSD. So visual file also know how to validate your request and response because visual file knows XSD. Makes sense or not? With XSD, it will validate, are you passing required parameter? Are you not passing required parameter? And you can check it and it can throw error. When it throw error, it is called SOAP fault. Fault means error. Fault means error. And SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. Simple object. Object is nothing but Java or C#. And that magic of object from JSON, from XML to Java, the magic was done by JXP. Or Java to XML, that magic was also done by JXP. So there is a special English name. Sometimes people use jargon to confuse you. The English name is called marshalling. Speak with me. Marshalling. Marshalling means you are taking normal XML or JSON and convert into Java. In normal English, we call translation. But if you do reverse, taking Java to XML, it's called unmarshalling. So marshalling and unmarshalling. JXP is very popular for that. To be honest with you, I don't think any library came closer to that. Google recently introduced another library called Jackson. So they introduced, I think 4 or 5 years back, Google introduced a library called Jackson. It's a spelling is J-A-K, Jackson. It does JavaScript, which is nothing but JSON, to Java, JSON to object. It does JSON related marshalling and unmarshalling. It does work with the, what you call, XML. So sometimes people use Jackson library than JXP. JXP was the original library. Make sense? Now, I want to show you one example of Wisdom so you can see yourself, you can feel about it, and then it will work. A little tricky. So please be on my forum. So go to forum. In forum, I just added in a comment because I was a little bit late. So if you go all the way down, there is a comment. I just added comment so you can see that this comment. All the way down, you see the comment. Click on this. Click on that. So far, so good. I hope. Always see on the screen last in a web service all the way down. All the way down. You are in a web service, right? All the way. This is not a thing, it's comment. All the way down under web service, all the way down where you see comment. This link, right? Now click on it. So when you click on it, these are like, I need to find somewhere web wisdom because this has become antique piece now. It's pretty hard to find free, what do you call, web services. It's antique pieces. This URL, yeah, this one. Keep paying attention, okay? Because there are small thing make more, clarity. So now, if I go here, if you see carefully, it gives you URL here. Copy this URL. Make sure you see on the screen because these are basic things, okay? These are basic things. If you have basic things, you will have trouble. Then hard thing, you will have more trouble, okay? So make sure you copy this URL and paste in the browser. So I'm going to copy this URL. See on the screen and follow the flow. Copy this URL. Make sure you copy this URL and paste it. So Control C and paste in your browser. So what happened? You get this thing. People on phone, I'm hoping you are also following. I'm not asking any coding, just basic follow. This has nothing to do with testing. Simple computer usage. First, understand the concept so you appreciate this lab. But if you don't understand concept, then it will look like I'm just doing it without understanding, right? Okay. Natalia, any issue? Right. Make sure you all see on the screen, give a little bit of acknowledgement. Yes, I'm understanding, I'm following. Now, here, there are two operations are here. Number to word and number to dollar. These are two operations are there. Okay. Now, this is real working example. So let's click on number to word. So if you click on number to word, you will get, please see on the screen all the time. I'm not going to repeat too much because these are basic thing. Okay. We copy the URL, right? We got two operations. Let's click on the first operation. So when you click on the first operation, you see this thing. Number 2 word operation, I did it. Now you can see nice, beautiful SOAP request. And this is a SOAP response also. It means you copy incorrect URL. Properly copy. There might be some URL issue. Is anyone has any issue? Right? If it works for me, it should work for you. Unless you have internet issue or something. Now, see here. I'm hoping you have copied this URL, right? The WSO. Don't copy single quotation and all, right? Only WSO. Yeah, WSO. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Very good. Please keep paying because we're going to do 100+ steps. Okay, it will be very helpful if you keep doing right thing. It will be fun. Now, please understand, this is the like a business side of the wing. I want you to first understand business side of the wing. So business say that if I put number here, let's say I put number 2, and if I invoke, I should expect English 2. Let's click on it. So put 2 here and click on invoke. So now you can see it gives me response 2 here. Do you guys agree? And go back again. Wherever you were, just go back. This one, yeah. So if I put 4 here, it will give you 4. So not a big deal. Simple web service, right? Number 2, text. So far so good. Now let's understand this concept. Concept is, if you read this carefully, web service is defined like this, but it is in XML format. It means it's a SOAP. If it is a JSON format, it will automatically become a REST. So first of all, it's XML. Now you can see here, start to end, there's a SOAP body. They call envelope. So if you are going for a deeper interview, then they will ask what is envelope means. Please see on the screen. The last thing you do is sitting here not paying attention, because this thing lifetime you will not hear this thing, because no one will explain SOAP. If you ask me, average person in a IT will need 10 years. So 10 years, most people have not developed web services. They don't develop REST web services. Anyone who has been 15, 20 years, then only those people have used SOAP. So many people lifetime don't know what is SOAP means because they never develop it. If they ask in interview, do you know what is envelope means? Now, how would you answer that? So anytime when you send requests, there are layers you need to understand. It applies for JSON also, but JSON doesn't explain nicely, but it is the same concept here. So there are layers are here. So first layer is the header. First layer is the header. Header, normally you pass hidden information, your ID, your username, your application ID, your channel ID. The second thing is your parameter. Parameter, if you want to pass any additional parameter. The third is the body, where you really pass your XML. And the fourth is your attachment. Attachment, which you pass. Attachment, when you are filing text, many of you are filing text. See, you don't know, but you are using web service. If you are filing e-filing, especially you are using TurboTax and all. IRS has stopped using paper form unless you have to. IRS has exposed a service called tax service, and your accounting software create a PDF file and then send them as attachment. So when you are submitting your tax file, you're submitting PDF file as attachment. Only SOAP support attachment. So if you are using LinkedIn, where you're uploading your resume, if you are using Indeed, where you're uploading your resume, you have to use SOAP, because there is no way you attach attachment in JSON. Second thing, this can be much more secure than JSON. So JSON is much more stable because it's been having 20+ years history. Many companies still use SOAP if there is an attachment requirement. All of you are getting certificate. Some of you got certificate today, right? For your Power BI. That is also attachment if you carefully see that. So I use also a web service to send you email. I use mail service to attach that. So if you have attachment, 90% chances people will use SOAP. But people say, what if I don't do attachment? If I do in body, you can do body, but Word document in body, you will not be able to do. Image in a body, you cannot do that. Yes or no? Ask yourself question. When you send somebody email, did you put your resume in the body? No, right? So you always do attachment. So when attachment, SOAP is the option. Make sense? So there is a still need for SOAP. So there is a Java standard. There's a special Java standard, Java applications attachment, like JAS. That was the specification. So Java application attachment specification. Again, I'm not going detail. I just want you to aware, because if you are learning SOAP, you should know about it, because in interview, people might ask this type of thing. Now, for time being, we are focusing on this body. Now, this body, how do I understand body? Because you can carefully see that it used XML NS. XML we know, it's XML. And NS stands for namespace. Speak with me. Namespace. Namespace means everything you define your own language. So example, if I have namespace for retail, then that namespace is separate. So over there, customer may be different. But if I have namespace hospital, then their customer may be different. So customer may exist in two different languages. One is retail language and one is healthcare language. So namespace allow to have same person or same object with a different naming conventions. Namespace is nothing but grouping. In a Java, we call package. Sounds familiar? So if I create hello class in one package, I can create hello class in another package also, because it's a namespace. So when you do JXB, all namespace will convert as a package. So far, so good. So whatever you know Java, there is a mapping in Excel. So now I want to understand how it will work. So if you carefully read this thing, if you carefully read this, it says envelope is the high level and body in the middle. It means I'm not passing header, I'm not passing parameter, I'm not passing attachment, I'm passing body. Do you guys agree? And then if you read carefully, it does tell you the operation name, number, 2 words. That's your method, operation. You guys agree? Crystal clear? See, if somebody give you wisdom, you should not ask any question, because it crystal clear tells that number 2 words is the method. Now, if you clearly go inside, it does say there is one parameter required, and that parameter should be long. So it is also telling type, what type of data it is expecting. In JSON, we cannot do this. Now, if you see the response, same concept in a response. First you have envelope, then you have body, but here you are saying that you are getting result in a string format. So it is also telling that your data type will be string. How this clarity happens? So there are two things are hidden. One is XSD and one is WSD. WSDL will help us connect all things together. But first I explain request, and then I explain response. Any question with request and response so far? Anything which is not clear? People on phone. So far so good. Now let's dive into WSDL. Okay. Now there is a trickiness. WSDL is a tricky. So please understand. Please see on the screen. Very simple. This up to WSO, web service object. After that, remove everything and just do XSD. Just type XSD like that. Type XSD. XSD. Lowercase XSD. After question mark, type XSD. See on the screen and press enter. Now, if you do that, you go back to your original and change to WSDL. WSDL. Change to WSDL. WSDL. Then you get entire WSDL. WSDL. Question WSDL. Entire WSDL. Now don't panic. You're not gonna write tonight. Normally you use tool. Normally you use tool to create this thing. Now I have written also manually. You should write if you want to learn in and out. So I want to learn, so I wrote it manually. But anytime somebody give visual, first scroll all the way down and look for ABC. All the way down. Do you have address? Say yes. Right? Now tell me binding. Do you have binding? Right? So binding and the contract. Contract means operations. Look for the operation. Do you have operation here? So there are two operations. I can see that. Say yes or no. And the style is document, means I'm going to send XML. And I also tell that how am I going to pass? I'm going to pass literal, right? And I'm going to pass the details. So I am going to pass document and I have this thing. Now, if there are more operations, if I see here that if there are more operations, each operation will be listed here. So you can see binding. Binding is number conversion. So I have number to words. Then I have number conversion, stop binding to means they have extra maybe, but number to words is definitely there, and number conversion. So these are operations are there. So if I use this WSDL and if I use SOAP UI is super duper powerful. It will read it and it will convert as a request and response for me. And they use JXB to do so. Make sense? Only thing you need is wisdom. Do you have wisdom? Say yes or no. People on phone, do you have wisdom? So now this wisdom I have on the top and all, you don't have to worry about it. But this is all written. Whenever you see XX, this is nothing but XML schema. Schema means what is required, what is not required, what is optional. All those things you can define. Again, nowadays people are not using, so I'm not going to spend time, but there was a time where you define XSD to control the data quality. Again, don't worry about that part for now. Right now, I have wisdom. Can I count everyone who has wisdom? If yes, then we can start using in ready API. If we don't have wisdom, we can't do anything. But do you have wisdom, Giris? You have?
Yes,
No, you have to type W question wisdom, right? Are you typing here question wisdom?
just open it first time.
Oh, okay. WSO question wisdom. Okay. I'm hoping everyone has a wisdom because this is our starting point. We are going to do one because itself will take 1.5 hours. But then you know the process, you can do any of them, right? There is no difference between one web service versus other web service. That's why I like web service, because once you know the process, it's repeated. So it's not a complex at all. So process is very straightforward. Now, please understand, you only type question wisdom, that's all. Don't try to type entire URL, right? When you do that, you have wisdom. So now open this project. If you are ready, if you have set up ready API project, let's open it. Sorry,
Do we have to log in?
there should be a button link somewhere. I don't think you need to log in. Make sure you read and follow accordingly. I don't think you need to log in because this is a free version. There should be a link somewhere, escape. You can help also, so we can make sure they are moving forward. It's memory. This is like a memory hog. SOAP UI and all there because they are using Java. Okay. So here you go. What did he say? What did he say? Our records say that did he come? What did he say? Did he stop or what? Come on. Oh, it's coming. Okay. Because it is taking a lot of memory and my machine has only 4 GB. So it takes time, but once it open, it will be smooth. I don't think you need to enter password or anything. Okay. Sorry?
Register or login.
No, you don't have to do. See, it's a you have login with your things. I'll just say cancel. Okay. Can I count everyone is here in this screen? See guys, I'm doing in front of you. I have just started. So it's not like existing. I just install. Anytime you see something like that, just exit. And you say no valid. Do you want to save all purchase? But say no valid license found. Will shut down. Do you want to save all your project? No valid license found. But I want trial. Okay, it's shut down. Let me start again. 1 second. This time it should be fast. We are trying to do trial, so there should not be a problem. Unless it's forcing us. They might have heard me, huh? I was explaining about it, right? Nowadays, you never know. ChatGPT can educate them. It might be listening, huh? So it's coming here. I'm hoping it should be fine. If it asks, we'll figure it out. So here you go. So it says, yeah, you have to log in with your Smart Beer ID and Swagger endpoint, which I don't think so. So license file, I have no license file. Let me click if it allows me. I'm trying to get in. Okay, seems like it did. Okay, no big deal. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'm entering. So I'll say close this one, and I'm here. One hurdle is gone. Okay, can I count now? Everyone is here. Awesome. So I think someone has a, what is the issue, Raman?
Echo.
Oh,
Echo is there, so someone has phone and computer audio both on.
yeah, I think that's someone,
Somebody from there.
or maybe my side.
Yes.
Let me change it. Let me know. Is it better now? Is it better?
I
Hello?
think yes, it is.
Yes. It's good now.
No problem. Okay, guys, let's continue. So first thing, what we're gonna do, we're gonna click on brand new project. So here, file, please follow me. We are gonna do a lot of steps, and I really request you to pay attention because sometimes my chain of thought breaks, and trust me, it takes me a lot difficult to go back. The only thing you can do is pay attention. Trust me, it will be fun because there are so many steps, and I also forget because there are so many steps, right? So we're going to create a project file, and we're going to create a project. So here we are going to create new empty project. File, new empty project. Okay. I'm going to do step by step, so you will be fine. And because when you do new empty project, you will have such kind of structure, right? Anytime you create a project and if you feel like, oh my God, I forgot the name, you right click and rename. So right now we are trying to do work on this service. So number conversion, right? That's what's the service. So here I'm going to right click here on the project and we'll try to do rename. And we'll say right click, rename, and we'll say number conversion project. Name doesn't matter. Just write down whatever name you want. Doesn't matter. So right click, rename, and give any name. Doesn't matter. There is no special meaning here. It gives you, like, rather than project 1, it will be a proper name. Number conversion project. Right? Give anything you want. And then click OK. Good so far? Okay. Now we have a nice, beautiful project name. Now, first thing first, always web service is known as API. So we are going to add a first API, which is our WSDL. As soon as I add a WSDL, listen carefully what will happen. There are a lot of chain of reaction will happen. As soon as I give a WSDL, it will try to create request and response for me for each operation, which is a good thing, right? Something awesome. So let's do it. So we're going to right click on API and we'll say, we're going to say here, import API definition. Import API definition. Now, when I was working in an earlier stage, we used to have API as a file. We put in our data folder and then we use it. But here we don't have a file, we have a URL. Everyone understand? We don't have a file, we have a URL. WSDL file. Marin, you're with us? Because you were somewhere else.
No. I'm already ahead of you. I'll click on wisdom already.
Okay, I'm just making sure you are with us.
Sorry.
Right? So normally they give you email file or you have file, you use that file or you are using URL. So right now we'll do import API definition. So when you click on import API definition, you get something like this. Now we don't have file. Do you agree? So we're going to click on URL. So let's click on URL. And if you remember, we have WSDL visible here. So copy this whole URL. Control C, copy this URL. Copy this URL. Make sense? See, I like about this work because you don't do coding. I understand you make mistake in coding.
Tom, can you
Yes.
please drop the URL in the chat?
I would like you try it. If you don't do it, then you're missing
Yeah,
out.
because I didn't understand the first part, so I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna just continue then, you know.
I'll give you, but I want you to do that because otherwise, what's the point? How are you gonna do homework?
Yeah, because I lost the first part, so like now I don't want to waste
Ask
the
question
whole.
instantly. Remember, rule number one, instantly. Okay, and more
Yeah.
focus because there are so many clicks we're gonna do. Okay,
Yeah,
Little
it was too much. Like the first part, it was like it was hard for me. Well,
This
for
is
me.
just a beginning. Okay, we have a long
Yeah.
way to go. We are just a first step.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've added in the chat URL.
Thank
So
you.
now I'm gonna paste here. I'm gonna paste here. So please understand URL. I'm pasting the URL. As soon as I say that, it's a determine automatically. It will automatically determine the operations and all, which is smart tool. So I don't have to do anything. I just need to say import API. So click on import API. And when you do that, it will do chain of reaction. It will start downloading. It will call JXB and it will create a nice objects for you. Congratulations, your first step is done. Was it hard? Was it hard? Right? See, if you are able to navigate, if you ask me, this is your platform is ready. Now you can do QA. Look at that. It knows now you have two operations, number $2 and number 2 words. How easy it is. Yes or no? Now you can click on the plus sign and you will see the request. So let's focus on number $2 and you click on that. So you have a request and double click on it. As soon as you double click, you will see request object visible here. Double click on that. So double click on request. See on the screen, follow the flow. So you expand the number $2, your request, double click on it. So if you double click on that, you will see XML. So it creates XML request for you. So you can see nicely, you have a double click and you get a form. If I enter here number 2, it will give me answer, but let's click on XML. Click on XML. So you will see nice XML ready to go. So click on XML and you can see XML is ready to go. And it says, if you write question means you write whatever you want and I can generate, I can call the web service. Please understand, I double click. By default, it was on form. From form, I went to the XML, right? So now I'm curious. So I'm going to write 2 here. 2, just type 2. Just type 2 here. Just type 2. Make sure you type correctly 2. After you type 2, you just click on a send button on your right side. There's a send button. Click on send button, you get response. Say, ta-da! Congratulations. You got a response quickly. And then you click on XML, you will see the answer also. Click on XML, and you will see answer $2. Do you guys agree? So first of all, you enter 2, you call this web service, and you got the answer. You did not write SOAP. Everything SOAP UI did it for you. The only thing you write is 2. That's called data. Test data. How hard it can be. Makes sense or not? And you click on send. That's all you did, and you got the result. And you can see how nice result comes. Any questions so far? Postman, you can't do this thing. Newer version of Postman you can do, but this is Mercedes now. So Postman is good for JSON, REST. Can Postman use for SOAP? Yes, but there it's bicycle. This one is Mercedes for SOAP, but bicycle for JSON. Of course, one has a richness on JSON, one is richness in XML.
They will invest on.
Mhm.
This is all paid, right?
This-
Postman is also.
Postman is free. Any other questions? Good so far? So now let's do one more. There is another operation is here. So expand this operation. Make sure you see on the screen and follow the flow. And your request, double click. So your number to dollar and number to words. So let's do dollar here. Double click on that. So when you double click here, it gives you a form. If you put number here, it will give you answer. But I like to go through XML only. So I'm going to click on XML. So click on that and I'll click on XML. And here again, just put some number here too. And then send. I'm just doing 2 and see what happened and go to XML. And you can set $2. So just anything you put here, it adds just $. So I added 2 and I click on send button. Make sure you click on send. So you can see basically the service is doing nothing. Number $2. So if you say 2, it's going to give you $2. So just for curiosity, I want to see 4. And if I send, it should give me $4. Perfect. And one thing I want to show you something smartness. If I put 1, will it say $1 or $1? So send it and say smart. It says $1. It doesn't say $1, right? So what you just did is a functional testing. You're passing the input, the service is receiving input, and then giving you answer. The input is in a SOAP request. Now, you don't have to write SOAP request hand because it is done by SOAP UI. So in your job, sometimes people say SOAP knowledge is required, but what is it technically? And people say, I don't know SOAP. You don't need to know SOAP. I explain what is SOAP means. SOAP is nothing but the structure of XML. The only thing you need to worry about is your detail, right? Now, rest of the things, you don't touch it because this is done by JXP. This is also done by JXP. So there are converters are there. So if you are writing Python program, it converts this value to get this value. Again, we are not doing that, but it can be done quickly. So now I understand how to test manually. That is called functional testing. So now I want to do test cases. I tested. Now I want to do test cases. I will take one example and move forward if you guys are okay with that, right? So right now, number $2, I like it because it's all dollar. Yes or no? And everyone likes dollars. So we'll take this thing. People on phone, if you're okay with me, Hind, you're good so far?
Yes.
If
Yes.
you're okay, we
Thank you.
can move forward, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Thank
please
you.
understand, we are, no problem. We are going to, first we have to test it. It works. If you don't do proper, like example, I want to see if I pass XXX and if I have to send, I should get an error. So here it's not giving number. So you can say something is saying no number. So that's fine. I understand what's going on here. But if I pass here number, it is doing the work. So right now, I'm not doing too much negative test cases. Right now, I'm trying to learn the tool. Okay. So I use this as my reference point. Please pay attention. I'm using this as my reference point and I right click on it. Please follow me. I right click on it and I say add test case. I right click and I say add test case. So it will first create a test suite. It will create a test suite and inside test suite, it will create a test cases.
Why do we have two bindings?
Sorry? It's a service they have done uppercase and lowercase, means version 1, version 2. Don't worry about that part. It's not our implementation. They might have version 1. Version 1 focus only number to dollar, and version 2 might have other focus, right? So they might have version 1 old support and version 2. Okay? What's the problem? Right? Everyone is good, sir? So right now, right click on your number dollar request and say add test case. Please follow me. We have a long run to go, okay? But so easily you can create a add test case. So if you do that, it will ask you, where is your test suite? It will ask you like this. Please pay attention. So here, we are here. So we're going to click on assertion also. Let's understand assertion. Assertion, everyone knows the QA students have special love for assertion, validation, right? Assertion means validation. Status goes 200 means success. SLA. What is SLA stands for? Service level agreement. So the response should come in 200 milliseconds, which is kind of reasonable. No fault means no error. Schema compliance. What is schema compliance? XSD. Make sense or no? SOAP you can do that. And JSON you cannot do that. Now click here, add test cases.
By right clicking there?
Yeah. Please follow me, because otherwise I'll keep going back. I bet here, right click here, add test cases, right?
On the object.
Yeah. Always colorful, right? Colorful. So right click here, right? Add test case, and then you click on this will automatically add test cases for you. So we are going to click on this one, add test case. Right? Click on it. Right? So it will ask me test suite. Right? So right now I'm going to keep the same name because we don't want to change that. So it will create a folder here. It will create a folder here, test suite. And inside suite, it will create a test cases for you. Make sense or no? Again, we are only using tool. We are not doing manually. So it will create for us and now say test case. I'll say okay. Okay. And nicely it created a test cases. Now this window is completely done, so I'm going to cancel it. So I'll cancel it because it's done. Any questions so far? How to create from request to test suite and test cases? Very simple. Right click. It's there.
The value?
I'm going to show you, but are you not able to see the structure? Yeah, right. So far you are with structure, right? Yeah, I'm going to show you, right?
Okay.
First, follow the steps. You are here, right? Your test suite and test case. Yes or no? Now double click on test case 1. So when you double click on test case 1, right? This test case 1, what we are using here, we do not have as such, but you can see there are so many things you can do here. So many things you can do here. So what are the things you can do? I'm going to show you one example, but right now, let's say I want to run this test case. So I want to run this test case. So I'm going to click on a play button. This test case came from request. Please understand. This test case came from request. And we have tested request, yes or no? So it will use the same request to run that. So check it out. So if I run it, it's now, I need to, you can see here, now it's running and I can show you transactional. So see what happened. I click on transactional log. And if I click on transaction log, it passed one test case. So far, so good. So let me see here. It says 0 step pass, 0 step fail, but I can run here and I can see transaction log. Right? I did not do anything. I just say it is working or not. So perfect. Now I'm going to remove this log. This is a log for your knowledge purpose. So if you click on the gear icon, you can clear or remove the log. So click on the gear icon, see on the screen, and clear the result. Clear result. Now we're going to do our own steps. Okay. So I right click on a test case, and you can see here there are so many things available. So here you can see here you have add step, right? You have add step, you have clone thing. Add step is a very richer. So if I click on this one, you will see a lot of options here. So if I right click here, and if I say this is a lot of things you can do here. Now it will take a life to understand all of them. So first what we need to do, I will go back again and I'll create one more time. I need to add a test step. So right now this one is here. If I right click here, add step. So let's say what are the things we can do? Let's define it here. So I will get you data source we can do, and running part we have already. Yeah. So let me do one thing. I'll go back to my this test case. Go back to test case again one more time. Right click on it and say add test case. Again, I'm going back. Right click, add test case. This time, again, it will pop up same thing, right? Now, same concept. Let me repeat. Same thing here. Number of dollar requests, right? Yes or no? Right click on it. Right click on it. Add test case. Add test case. Add test case. And then again, this time I'm going to say add test step. Add test step. Now, when I do add test step, what happens here? The difference part, you will see little request here. Let me repeat one more time. I'm going to delete this thing. A little bit. Let me just remove this thing and show you one more time. Please pay attention. This is my working request. Okay. My car doesn't have anything like this. So I hope it's not yours, right? So number of requests, add test case. Add test case. So when I do add test case, I already have structure, right? Make sure you check all. And now I'm doing add test step. Add test step. So when I do add test step, the benefit about
They're on the corner.
I need to one second. I'll delete this thing one more time because I deleted the test case here. Okay. So I right click here, add test cases. I'm just repeating just to make sure you understand. I request here. I'm going to say add test case, just like we did before, test suite. And then I add test case, and I'm going to do add test step. So what I'm trying to do here is workflow. Step 1, step 2, and step 3. So when I do add test step, this small thing happen here. See here, you are getting one request, and that is a SOAP request. And if you double click on it, it is exactly same as the previous, but here it's your test case. So you are saying whatever you have here, it's the same thing, but it is in a form of request. Give me thumbs up if you are here. Okay. Everyone has it. Okay, now run one time and just check it out. It works or not. So please understand, I'm here. I'm going to click on the play button. So I can say play button run. So when I run it, now it is running and I can see the result also. So I can see the result $4. Just for testing purpose, I want to do 5 and just check it out that is it working? So perfectly, it's working $5. So my test case step is working fine. Can I count everyone is doing good so far? Now step 1 is done. And congratulations if you are with me. Now we are going to do step 2, which is very interesting. You may like it. I want to do assertion. Assertions, we have added generic assertion. So if you see carefully at the bottom, make sure you see on the screen, at the bottom there is an assertion. So this is your request, this is your response, this is your address, and there is an assertion. Click on assertion. So if you click on assertion, These are the by default assertion we added. As a QA perspective, these are the assertion we added. But let's say I want to add my own assertion because these are basic assertion. Assertion means validator. So I want to add assertion that, please pay attention, every time I write 6 here, it should say $6. If I say 1, then it should be $1. So I want to do $1, $1, 2, $2, 3, $3. And I want to create a data-driven testing. Make sense or not? So this is quite interesting. How do I do that? So first, there are 4-step approach we need to do. First, we need to know how to write assertion. Then we need to create a data file, which will be Excel file. We'll create a 2-column. Please pay attention because don't ask me repeat this thing because I will forget again. We are going to do 2 columns. One column is we'll say what we are going to pass. So we're going to say ID, just like example, number or ID. We'll say I pass 1. And this is my expectation. I'll say result should be $1. If I pass 2, $2. If I pass 3. So this is my input and this is my expectation. And if everything match, test pass. Do you agree or not? So this is beautiful because you are now doing test with number of data. But how should I add assertion? Very simple. Follow the flow. There is a plus sign here in assertion. Click on that. Click on plus sign, assertion. So if you click on plus sign, you will see this thing. My favorite is content because those who do not know XPath, you will like content. But those who like XPath, you can go in detail. Again, because of time limitation, I'm not going to go in XPath. But those who are Selenium students know XPath, how you do XPath, like, elements, attributes, you can do that. But if you do not know much, select content. So click on contents and then say add assertions. So click on content and click on add assertion. So when you click on content and add assertion, you get a dialog box like this. So I'm saying that anytime this has a dollar. So right now I have $5. So I'm going to write dollar. Check it out. I'm just writing dollars. Okay. And I say okay. So if I say okay, it will give me pass sign. Okay. Okay. So it give me pass means it's okay. It is content. Dollars are content. If I double click here and instead of dollars, if I say $5, I just added 5 and I say, okay, it's a fail. So it means my assertion is working. Do you guys agree or not? Very simple, easy way. Double click. Let me repeat one more time. How did I get this dialog box? I click on plus sign. Then I got a dialog box. I click on contain. In contain, I wrote a dollar. The reason I wrote dollar because dollar was there. Yes or no? So right now I check that $5 gives me failure, means my assertion is working. So I'll say okay. So at this moment, I'm going to create a data file. Any questions so far? Right? Now, please understand, in order for me to do data-driven testing, I need to have my own assertion. So I can change this value and I can expect respective answer. Right? So let's open Excel file. Open Excel file. Open Excel file. If you have Excel, open any Excel file. And we are going to create 2 columns. One column for input and one column for output. So we'll say here, let's say we'll say ID, and here we'll say message. Please understand ID and message. And ID, I'll say I pass 1, I should expect $1. That's what I should expect. So this is my 1, I should expect $1. And if I pass 2, should I expect $2? Spelling wrong, right? So far so good. And then 3, I'm creating a data. So it's a $3. And $4. and 5. That's good enough. So I'm just creating 5 rows. We are doing fantastic. Just need me, please provide me support. So we are almost like, I would say 60-70% of the lab, which is good. Good so far. Again, there's no rocket science. 1 means $1, 2 means $2, 3, 4, right? Now, a couple of things to remember. This will be my one attribute, which is the input attribute, and this will be my output attribute. You guys agree? And the worksheet which I'm using is, you can see yourself, is a worksheet 1. And I'm going to save this file as a data. I'm going to save this file as a data under download folder. You can save wherever you want, but I'm going to save as a download folder. So please follow me. Please follow me. Ready? File, save as, and I'm going to save under download folder. So please save under download folder. Download folder, give a name, data. Whatever folder you like, I normally copy in a download folder. So I put a download folder, name is data. So I'm saving data Excel file under download folder. So go to download and give a name. Oh, data is already there. Maybe I'll put it in somewhere else then. Data folder, maybe. Yeah, I'll put it in data folder because I have already data folder, so it doesn't allow me. So I'll put it in data folder. So I save. It doesn't matter where you save. Remember that. So I save under data folder, data.excel file. Good so far? Okay. People on phone, can I count everyone has Excel file ready? Good.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now let's continue further. Now we have to do systematical. You need to understand the what you call concept, what we are trying to do. We need to replace this and read from our Excel. Yes or no? We need to replace that and read from our Excel. So to do this thing, there are 6-7 steps involved, which is quite easy. Let's follow the flow. First thing first, on test case, right click on a test case, and there should be add step. Make sure you see on the screen, please. Right click on a test case, and there should be add step. Please see on the screen. Right click on a test case, and there is an add test, and look for data source. Click on data source. So you click on data source. So when you click on data source, so one more time, right click on test case, add step, and data source. Why am I taking data source? Because I want to read Excel file. Yes or no? Now I'll keep a data source name as a data source. No need to change. Don't ask me to go back. Okay, please. This is difficult to go back. So make sure you right click on a test case, add data source, and click on OK. So now it says, would you like automatically generate the parameter? I'll say no. Please don't do that. I have my data file. So what am I going to say? No. So now I have data source added. Was it hard? Data source added. Now double click on data source. So as you double click, you get this window. Right? Data source. Now you drop down box, click on that, and there should be Excel. Select that. You may like that. Yes or no? And now you will have a browse button where you're going to go to your download folder or data folder and select that Excel file. So click on the browse. For me, it's in data folder. So I'll go to data folder and pick up my double click on data.excel file. So you have this, and you will see this thing. Do you want to import the property? Just say yes. Just say yes. So what happened right now? It is saying which worksheet I should open. So you know worksheet 1. So I'll say worksheet 1. Make sure you type worksheet 1. Right? And now click OK. And when you click OK, now it is so smart. It understands all columns. You can see ID and a message. It read it. right? It means you might have given wrong name or wrong path. Right? So far, so good. Could you help him because making sure he is able to do right? Everyone is on phone. Are you guys
Yes,
able
this
to
is
see and
cool.
file?
Yes,
Yes.
this is nice.
Yes.
Sorry, what was the question? Dick?
No, I like it. I like it. It's really cool.
Yeah. See, Dick, if you just pay attention, I can make you like, instantly in just 3 hours, 3 years of experience. There is no rocket science required for such kind of tool. Only focus. Because if you don't focus, every angle you will be lost, right? Every angle. So focus is key because you want to navigate one exercise successfully. If you do that, then rest of the exercise will be super duper good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Select the one, A1, right?
Mhm.
Selected A1.
Mhm. Yeah.
A1.
Okay. I have to continue, my friend, because we are about to come in a break. Girish, I'll help you. Yeah, because we'll be stuck otherwise. I want to make sure before break we complete this exercise. Now, please understand, we are doing this exercise, but this is still not linked here. Yes or no? So how do I link it? So now there's a smart way to do, okay? See guys, only thing you need to do, click. If I were you, trust me, this kind of thing, I will 100% full attention because you don't want to miss this thing, right? It's simple, but it is very clickable. You have to click properly. So now double click on SOAP request. Say I'm here. Say yes, I'm here. Now, wherever the 5 is, wherever is the 5, you just select the 5, select the 5 and right click on it. Select the 5 and right click on it. So I select and right click on it. Say yes. Okay, don't ask me to go back. Okay, there are so many clicks we need to do. Go to get data. Get data. So right click, make sure you select the 5, go to get data, right? And you will have a new screen shows up like that. Say yes. Now data source, click on data source and click on ID. Was it hard? Baby thingy. This is called baby thingy. What do you call? Baby thingy. Anybody can do it. And then say add. And you can see it is added. Now remove 5. Now you have parameter driven request. Remove 5. So you can see nicely beautiful $driven parameters. Was it hard at all? Easy. Do you agree? People on phone, was it easy?
Easy.
Perfect.
Not really.
Not really, then you have not seen hard part yet. Okay. So hard part, I'll cover that. This is like trust me, the easiest it can get. Okay. Now
So how we can bring the message column?
I'm going to, you're going ahead. So right now, highlight the same thing here. Highlight the same thing and go to get data. Do you see anywhere get data? 1 second. It should be, let's go to assertion. Sorry for that. Let's go to assertion. Double click on assertion contain. Double click. Ready? Everyone knows double click. 1, 2, 3, double click. Right? Now remove the dollars and right click on it and say get data. Yes or no? Please help me, right? Get data. Now again, data source. Easy. Raman, you got it now? And your
Yes, yes.
and see. Okay. Congratulations. You just did a data mapping, but we are not done yet. It won't work unless you do loop, because you have data which is a lot more data, right? You don't have one data, you have multiple data.
But on the other side.
No. I have not ran it. When I run, it will work. You are able to do it, right? Okay. Now, please understand, until I run, output will not change. So don't worry about it. So now, please understand, I have mapped my request with the data. I have mapped my output with the data, but I have not made a mechanism how to run. So for that, I need a loop. So please see on the screen, you are going to add another test step. So right click on a test case, add step. So right click, add step, and look for loop. Do you see anywhere data source loop? Yes.
Under that,
See how easy it is if you see carefully. The only way you will not be able to do if you are not able to see that, because I do color coding, right? Beautiful way, right? So please see here, right click on test case, go to add step, and I'm going to do data source loop. We are almost there, guys. Okay, ready? So now it is asking me specify the new step. I'll say, okay, name I don't want to change. Okay. So now everything looks good. I have request, I have source, and I have loop. The only thing I need to do is double click on data source loop, double click on data source loop. So it will ask what you want to do. It gives me two steps. What is your source? So my source is data source, right? So here I'm going to select data source, and the target is my request. Target is my request. Make sense or no? Easy. So data source coming from Excel, so data source, and target step is a request. And you say, okay. So far, so good. You're almost 85% done. Now you click on run button, and it will ask you how many rows you want. So click on run button. It will first prompt you how many rows you want. Here, second. Oh, this play button, my mistake. Click on this play button. It should give you, it will pop up and say how many rows you want. Like that. Yeah. Now double click, double click. You don't have it? Let me repeat. Let me repeat. Data source, right? You don't have a data source? I'll stop it right now. Hello, 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 hello. You should have it. Did you not do that? Remember two-step we did, right? Then you always have. You click on test case 1 if you are having problem. Click on test case 1. Yes or no? And now run it and see your transaction log. You see beautifully, you are able to run data and pick any one of them. Pick any one of them and see what happened. You will see the dollars and all other informations you will see here. And you can see you pass and you get successful. You can see all the informations about your test steps. Your transaction log has all the details. So let me go back here. Only one step failed, but overall everything went well. So if I pick this data source loop, please understand, if I take data source loop, what will happen? Data source loop will dry data source and SOAP request. So let me go back here. Now, this is my data source loop. So you can see data row 1, right? If I say data row 1, so what is happening here? If I click here and open, and if I see test result, data source root with assertion pass, it says pass, right? But one thing I'm not able to yet do it. Give me 1 second. In data source, click on data source one more time. I just need to tell how many rows it should pick it up, because it did pick up all those things from my Excel. Click on data source one more time. Click on data source one more time and click on the play button. It will ask you how many rows you want. So click on data source and click on play button. It will ask you how many rows you want. We have only 5 rows. So let's do 5 and say, okay. So now you can see it is picking this way, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these are the data it is picking. Make sense or no? Now you run your SOAP request. Now you run your SOAP request, whichever way you want. So I click on SOAP request, right? And I say send. See what happened. So if I click on send, it is one request at a time I'm doing, right? One request at a time if I do send. But if I click on test case, and if I say play it, it's gonna play, and you can see how many times it's playing. Every time it is using different value, and it is running. And I can stop. And when I stop here, you can see beautiful test case ran. All the time, how many times it runs, all those things you can see, how long it took, and you can compare your result. You can compare your result with the first run and second run. So if you click on multiple time, you can compare. So I ran 2 times. So I can compare first run and second run. I can compare the result. So you can see number of runs I saved. Anything I have, I can compare one versus other, which I'm going to show you. You can show the history, how many times you test case pass, test case fail. You can show that. Again, lot more to cover that as well. But we are not done yet. I have one more step to cover, then we'll come back here. Any questions so far? Do you agree that I have not hard-coded any number? If
Is it not stopping at 5?
it is infinite. No. It is reusing those 1 to 5, 1 to 5. Now, the most important thing before we take a break, most important thing, everyone, just few more minutes, 5 more minutes, then we'll have a break. I'll help you in case if you need help. So I created test case, but we are not done yet. We need to do load test. You guys ready? So please see on the screen. Again, don't miss me. So first, everything I have verified. Before you, do load test, you have to verify. Then right click on your test case, and you should have an option called create load test. So you right click on a test case, and then you have create load test. So what is load test? We can have number of users. So that's what we're gonna do. So create load test. So right click on a test case, create load test. Now I'm not gonna change the name. So we'll say okay. Now your screen will change. My machine is crawling right now, and you will see something like this. Okay, this is beautiful. You love it. Trust me, you will love it. There is nothing to do more, just only few things. In your interview, because I think a couple of people asked me how to do load test, so I thought this is beautiful. It's easy to do. Before you do load test, you need to have a strategy, how you want to perform the load test. Now, in order for me to show you that, first thing, see here, you have scenario. So you can create a scenario, different type of scenario. So there is a special icon is there. I want you to click on the icon. So that gives you different type of graphs. Did it open? Did it not open? No, it should be open. It will change. Let's do one test case maybe. Second, it should be changeable. 1 second, why it is not? It's not changing, right? Give me a second. Why? We'll get it. Let's do instead of infinite. Let's do here 5. Let's do 5, and here we'll say 5 minute. 5 minute. So I have 2 options here: scenario, and in scenario I have test case. So you can scenario is a master container, and I have a test case, which is my working scenario, which is good. Now I just need, now it came up. It took a little time. So check it out. I put 5 minute, and I have this one now. Do you guys see that? Now click here, and you will have options. It will come. You just make sure you first do 5. Just do 5 first, and then toggle a little bit, 5 minute, and then click on new scenario. Sometime you have to click here and here, it will come back. It's a little bit slow, but it does come, because you can see I have new scenario. It takes a little time. Now, this is like a strategy. Sometimes in interview, people ask how the strategy is. So think about Black Friday. Black Friday, as soon as I start morning, how my traffic will be? Will it come like 0 and it will go like this? Or it will go like this? Or it will go like this? Or it will go like this? So these are different strategies. So you pick a strategy, how you want to perform the load test. You can also do custom. But let's say I want to do ramp up, just an example. So what is ramp up? Start with 0, then 2, then 4, then 6, then 8, keep going like that. So that's called ramp up. Other is called burst. Burst means sometime 10, sometimes 0, sometimes 5, sometimes 10. That's called burst. Fix 100 users. Like that. So again, it's your choice. Right now, let's do one ramp up. Just learning. Again, when you do your homework project, you do play around, right? I'm just explaining, but you are spending like 7 days, right? So I pick a ramp up. Now, when you start ramp up, it's a, what is a base VU? VU means virtual user. So let's say base with 0, which makes sense. Because when you start with 0, the maximum peak time, I'm doing 10 here because my machine may not handle more than that. But actually in real machines, you will have a large machine, so you can handle up to 1,000 users. My machine will not handle. Your machine might, you can do more, but don't go crazy. It will crash the machine because it will eat up all memory. Start slow. Now ramp duration, we are saying 10 seconds, means it will go like that. So the duration means start to end 10 seconds, and wait time 1 second, means this is the wait time. So like initially 2, then 4, between that there will be a 1 second delay because breathing room, right? It's impossible to have all at once, right? So like that. Now you set it up there. I set it up 5 minutes. People on phone, are you guys ready? I need a thumbs up.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it.
So let's click on the play button and it will start running your first load test. We'll do 2-time load test, okay? So click on play button and you will see the graph. Congratulations, it's working. Yellow graph says take time taken. Blue say ramp up. So you can see it after 10, it will steady. It will become steady. Look at that. Beautiful. Yes or no? Now it will be steady. Why 10? Because 10 is the max we said. So it now becomes steady. Now you can see I have a lot of failure also. So what happened? Means as I increase the load, I have failure. So I don't know why it's the failure, but something happened. It makes sense. Now I'm going to stop it. I stop it. So when I stop it, it says, do you want to generate report? I don't want to generate report right now. I want to run again one more time, right? I don't want to generate report right now. So I'll say I cancel it, right? I'll cancel it. So I ran one time. Now I want to run second time just to, so I can compare result also. And I can complete all the things which I want to cover. So I run again second time. See, first few times there is no error, but as user increase, error increase. I don't know why. So that's something wrong. We have to investigate. Right now, error is 0. Do you notice that? Error is 0, but last run, I don't know why error happened. But anyway, so you run for a couple of minutes. After a while, you stop it. Now stop it.
It was like the engine. The engine driving.
So now I stop it. Okay. So how many time I ran? 2 times. So I have a 2 benchmark. So this is called A/B testing. In interview, people will ask, have you done A/B testing? So that's the A/B testing. First time you ran, which was the last sprint, and this time you ran, it's a second sprint. So after new modification, am I worse or am I better? Make sense or no? So first time when you ran, which is A test, after sprint, you are making a change, regression, and now you're running B test and C. So you can now click on examine statistics. So we'll say start pro trial. Why it is asking? It shouldn't be asking, right? It is asking, so I have to click on it. Normally it should not ask, but I click on it and I'm opening now. Okay. So now here I can see my load. I can see my data. So here, statistic, 1 second. Yeah, here. So I'm load. It didn't save it, huh? Because I didn't do. You have it? Let me go to statistics.
I do have it.
Yeah, some reason for me it did not have. But if you have it, you should have this icon. You should have this icon, right? Click on that icon.
In the statistics?
Yeah, in statistic. It's kind of comparison icon, right? If you click on it, you have two run. So you can current one and then select the other one like that. So you can now compare this one versus the second one. Make sense or no? So you're comparing and now do OK. And you can see comparison. For me, I'm not, but you should have graph. Did you see graph? Or let's click on add chart maybe. Let's say OK. Add chart and OK. It should see graph, yeah. Right? Add chart and OK. It was in the middle. When you select both and then say OK, when you select both and then say OK, there was add chart in the middle. I just click on that button. So you can see here, it gives you a comparison. What happened last time? So you can see here, current run was dark and then run 2 was lighter. So you can see run 2 worked very well. Why it worked well? Why first time it took a little longer and second time faster? Why?
Already.
Not caching, but warm up. It's a warm up because first time it was JXB, it was taking time. Rest of the time it is in memory. So faster. If I run again, it will be very close to second. Yes or no? So when you do load run, you always need to do warm up. Make sense or no? You can't just do that. So maybe warm up for 10-15 minutes, make sure everything is up in memory when you do load run. Make sense? And all those things you did, there is a report. So if you go here, you see here report. Yeah, here. You see here, generate report. 1 second. Yeah, create report by mistake. This one. Click on create report. It generates beautiful report for you. So click on report. It's like 60-70 pages report creates. Really good. This is something you should send to your development team and they will start investigating. So click on that and say OK. And it will give you a nice report. You don't have to do manual report. It's kind of beautiful. Look at that. Everything, whatever you did, and there are many pages are there. Okay, you have to do page 1, page 2, and all you can generate. Depends on how much what you ran and all. So you can generate report, detailed report also. So I think you can get a detailed report on another screen, the previous screen which we were. So you can generate report, you can send them, because normally in industry, when you run performance test, you always have a benchmark with the last one. And if you are doing poor in the sense of last one was doing better and this one is doing poor, then you should stop. You should not go to production. Make sense or no? Now,